Welcome to Viva La Visionary, the podcast that celebrates the innovative ideas and mindsets of entrepreneurs and visionaries. Join your host, Coach Bob Shenefelt, as he dives into inspiring stories and practical insights from trailblazers who are changing the game. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned leader, this show is your source for motivation and creativity. Let's embark on this exciting journey together.
Hey there, Coach Bob Shenefelt here, host of the podcast Viva La Visionary, the podcast to, for, about, and with visionaries. And very excited to have Paul Tramo here today. Paul, how are you?
I'm well, Bob. How are you?
I'm fantastic and better now that we're talking. So excited to share some wisdom with each other. When did you first realize you were a visionary, Paul?
That's a good question. I've always felt that I had some talent to kind of see things others didn't. I mean, I would hate to sound like braggadocious, but I have trouble with the whole phrase.
This podcast, you can be it.
Yeah, I have a little challenge with the term visionary, but
Yeah.
it's true. I mean, I do have an ability, I think, and I think my team would tell you that too, that I do kind of see around the corners a little better than most.
Right. Love it. So when did you first, so your whole life you've noticed that. I know for a lot of people, I've interviewed him for myself, I didn't know what, and again, it's not that defines me, but it's a data point of kind of who I am and what I'm great at. And it wasn't until working with Gino at EOS when I thought I was a terrible business owner. He's like, well, no, you're an entrepreneur and there is a place for you if you have the right structure and the right team. And I'm like, I get to just play and be a visionary. He's like, yeah. I'm like, woo.
Yeah, it's true. EOS has been very freeing in that regard. It's so funny, and I don't want to get too diverse.
No, go for it.
I have worked with my brother-in-law, who's been a blessing to me for over 30 years, and we've had that visionary integrator roles for probably the last 10 years, I'd say, at least 10.
Right.
We didn't know what it was. After reading Rocket Fuel, it's like, wow, we got something here. So we're just really starting to hit our stride at this point. It's great.
Love it. Very cool. So starting off with a softball question, why are you on this planet, Paul? What are you here to be remembered? What's your legacy? I just like to start with a simple question.
A lighthearted question. So I think if I think about it or had to quantify it, I would say I do really enjoy helping people. Making an impact in others' lives is really important to me. And kind of go out of my way and sometimes overstep my bounds by trying to do that. Not trying to be judgmental, but saying, hey, you thought about it this way kind of thing.
Right.
I think that's a big part of what drives me. I do it with my people in my company as well as I try to do it with our customer. I mean, I just try to do it with anybody I come in contact with. It's wild.
I love it. So I appreciate that. And it's interesting that so many of our members of the Visionary Forum and people I coached and work with, almost every visionary is similar, that we love to help and serve. Do you think others' perceptions of visionaries would say that about most of us? I mean, because I hear visionaries are all off on their own. So it's interesting as I get to know visionaries intimately, and I'm the same way. Do you think the perception of visionaries is like that we're here to serve and help?
Probably. It depends how close you are to them. So our employees, our colleagues would probably say, yeah, you're nuts and you're out there. But I like to think people think that of me, hopefully, because I do come from a place, of generosity with that. So I think probably if they were sitting back looking at it, maybe remove themselves from the daily sort of interaction, they'd probably say, yeah, that is true.
Well, it's interesting because I was in a group of people that work with visionaries, and someone showed a clip from the Bill Gates movie that Ashton Kutcher played him. And, Bill Gates, obviously a great visionary, but he was a real jerk and overly demanding, which, okay, and that's fine. And we wouldn't have all these amazing things if he didn't. But they were talking about how do you deal with these jerks and these pompous people? I'm like, hey, wait a second, we're real people. And again, as I get to know them, most of us are very caring. Now we're driven, so sometimes that could be misconstrued as, oh, Bob doesn't care, but I am so focused on getting to the future. Sometimes I'm not in the present, which is a learning opportunity for me. But yeah, so I just thought that was interesting because most of us, we do want to serve and that's what fills us up. But sometimes when we're driven, people don't always see that.
Yeah, I definitely can see that for sure.
Right. So what do you think what is the role in your definition? What is our role as a visionary?
Well, I think it is to sort of try to see around the corners and try to figure out what the right moves are for the business and for the people involved and to grow the business. And because of the impact that has. So I have 32 people. So I try not to think about the fact that I have 32 lives in my hands. And my decisions really impact so many people and so many families. But at the end of the day, that's our job, that's our role, and we're here to do and really try to make the best decisions for everybody involved.
Right. Well, it's interesting. I tried to do a visionary analysis of how many people we really affect as visionaries. So, yeah, you have 32 employees, which is tremendous, and all of their families. And then how many clients do you have? How many vendors do you have? You're speaking to people. I think it's, 1,000 people for each of us visionary or so, and maybe not directly,
Easily.
but yeah. And so that's an amazing. And so that's where my mark on the world is to affect, 10 million people. Well, I'm probably not going to deal with 10 million, but if I'm dealing with, 10,000 visionaries, it probably is that or whatever it might be. So
The
we have
multiplication effect.
yeah, and we have a whole, and to me, this is not just an opportunity we have as visionaries, it's almost an obligation in this time and day and age that we as visionaries can see around the corner and help to serve people and help to elevate. It's just what a great time to be alive.
Yeah, I joke a lot about, I have a relatively small company and our customers are big pharma and biotech. They would be in a lot of trouble if we went out of business
Right.
because we are an integral part of their supply chain of their materials they use to manufacture their products. I don't want anybody to get too nervous at all because we're in a great spot. But
Right.
and then my customers may listen to this and be like,
Right.
wait, what? Why are we dealing with this little company? But
Right.
we just are so valuable to them and make sure that they get what they need when they need it. And that's our mission at the end of the day, and that's what we try to get everybody in line with at my company. That hey, this is why we're here because we are serving the greater good. In terms of all their customers are relying on us too.
I love it. Love it. So what does your business do?
So as I said, our customers are big pharma and biotech,
Right.
and we sort of quarterback their supplies of process components or
Oh, wow.
materials they use in their manufacturing and large scale research operations. So it's uber niche, but that's kind of what we do. So in essence, we're supplying them instrumentation and equipment they use to monitor and move and control, inject sterile liquids. Yeah, yeah. So our customers are mainly vaccine manufacturers and other therapeutic manufacturers.
And I love that you are so niche. A lot of mistakes that a lot of us visionaries is we start in a niche and then we're like, ooh, what if we do this? And then we kind of lose focus. So I
Well, a little bit. Still staying in that pharma world, we have a
right.
couple other smaller businesses that we do architectural elements that build clean rooms. So all my equipment that Sentinel sells goes into a clean room, a controlled environment where they're making the drugs.
Right.
And then the other business we have, SPS Cleantech, does construction materials to build and renovate clean rooms. So wall
Oh, nice.
panels, doors, windows, things like that they use to actually construct clean rooms. And then another little business that has interlocks to control the doors in clean rooms. So try to diversify, but I'm still very, very tied to pharma.
Well, and I think that's interesting here. I commend you on having focus, but as a visionary, I think we almost have to test the boundaries, but not blowing up our core business. So starting up either other businesses, but not getting too distracted. But yeah, I mean, that is, again, I think we are often see a gap or an opportunity and then help to identify it and fulfill it for our customers and for our industry. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. So, what's one thing that you've learned as a visionary, a lesson you've learned that helped you personally or professionally? So it's like, boy, when I did this, I stopped or started this, or I implemented that, and it really helped change the trajectory of the rest of my life, either personally or professionally. So, what's one lesson you've learned you could share with other visionaries?
I'm still on the journey and still learning every
Sure.
day. I guess probably the most important thing is to really rise above and really focus on the business rather than in the business. I'm
Right.
still involved in the business. Hopefully I add value in the business for sure, but I really do have to try to not get into the nuts and bolts and certainly not muck around with other people's stuff. And
Right.
I think one of the ways we've been successful, hopefully, is by empowering people to make these decisions. And we
Right.
talked earlier about some of the work we're doing to strengthen our leadership team. And my goal today is to strengthen my leadership team so they can strengthen their teams because we're very fortunate. We have a very unique and culture that we really celebrate quite a bit, and that's an element that is one of our not only differentiator but a secret weapon, I think, in many ways
Right.
to our success. But also now I think the next thing is to really get the teams working in their own teams better, and then as a bigger team, the entire company working better. Again,
Love it.
and ultimately all to support each other and our customers. And
Right.
our vendors. One of the other things we rely on, we also represent manufacturers
Right.
to sell their products into these companies. So they have a lot riding on us too, to
Right.
do our jobs correctly to make sure their businesses are successful. So
I
there's a
love it.
lot of interconnecting spider web here.
And hence, to our conversation, how many people do you affect? It probably is thousands, which is amazing.
I never thought of that, Bob, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's
No
true.
pressure, buddy.
Well, it's funny. The other thing I never think about is the 32 lives and families I have,
Right. Right.
because you go nuts. It's thinking, oh, what if I do that? It's just, you got to do what you think is best at the end of the day for everybody.
So I love, and again, we talked previously about all the time and money and investment of time and money that you're putting into, team building, and that's building the trust. And it's learning, and not only how can I deal with you, but how you can deal with me, and to know ourselves. And that is so amazing. And that to me is a huge role for us visionaries, is to have that culture, that energy of, and when you said working on the business, that's what you're doing, is elevating that. And that's amazing. Good for you.
Thank you. Hopefully it's
Yeah,
going to
very
all
cool.
work out.
I love it. So, what else? So, what's one thing you're working on now that it might be a challenge, an obstacle, an opportunity as a visionary? So, what's one thing that you're, not up at night, but thinking about what is the next thing for you? Is it a new product? Is it the team building? Is it personal time off? What is something that you're kind of wrestling with right now as a visionary?
So I think probably the most important thing and possibly most impactful thing currently is the team building that I'm working on. So
Yeah.
we've done a lot to find ways to help with team building. We've invested a lot in it with, as you said, getting to know each other and really trust each other so we can be more cohesive and get beyond the sort of, I don't want to say this because I don't want to insult this person or upset this one or whatever, but really getting to where we can have those healthy conflict that we talk a lot about. That was the indicator to me, because
Hmm.
we have our L10s and they're very productive and it's been a game changer, but we don't have a lot of conflict.
Right.
And it's kind of like, okay, we do get along well and we work well
Right.
together. So maybe I'm looking for something that shouldn't be there, but I think it's important at the end of the day to challenge ideas and be confident and comfortable to bring ideas that certainly I haven't thought of. One of the
Right.
things that I tell my people all the time, because my integrator Joe, who I love dearly, is he and I have been working together for a long time. I try to tell, look, this can't be the Joe and Paul show.
Right.
We need to challenge us. That's not, let's look at it this way instead of what
Right.
we're doing. And the other thing, as you probably can tell with all my talking, I tend to take, possibly take over a room and
That's
maybe
never happened to
others.
me.
Okay, he's on a tear. I'm just going to let
Right.
him go, and I want to stop that. At the end of the day, it's one of my own goals is to stop that.
That's interesting. Yeah, I've been defined. I've done a lot of healing work, as you know, and always looking to learn and grow. And one of my coaches has helped me to realize in the past I was shouting into the chasm. And a great friend of mine who I've known since I was 16, and she's a marketing genius. And one time I went on a rant for 12 minutes, and she's like, "Honey, that 12 minutes was 30 seconds of pure genius." Oh, okay. So I'm gonna clean that up a little bit. That's an opportunity. Love it. Well, very cool. You brought up another thing that I wanted to touch back on, but so you talked, yeah, so about the energy and the culture, and so the heroes complex. A lot of times, I find a lot of visionaries. I'm responsible for 32 families. I've got to be the one to make sure we make payroll. I've got to be, and for to understand that we don't have to be the ones to do it is huge. And then also when you mentioned about the healthy conflict, my wife and I have read Ruiz's Four Agreements many times, and she's going on a retreat soon so that's top of mind, is to not take things personally. So that's one of his four agreements. And so I think that is so huge about trust building. So I don't want to bring up this one topic because Paul might get offended. He's doing a good job. No, I'm just asking a question or throwing out an idea. And so to have that kind of culture and trust is huge.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the goal is to get there.
Yeah.
Um, you know.
No, I love it. All right. Well, I have one more question, but I'm going to save that in case. Do you have any either other things that you want to share or questions you have for me or comments just to share with the group?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for kind of putting together this visionary forum because it's really been it's been another really good experience for me and I think everybody else involved. You know, one of the things that a lot of people don't understand, and I think we have talked about this in the forum before, but is how lonely it is at the top. You know,
Yep.
fortunately, my best friend is a business owner, so we have a lot of good conversations about the challenges. But at the end of the day, nobody cares. Nobody else cares.
Right.
You know, and it's kind of like it's hard to find others that are in the same battle with you, and having to kind of help each other and lean on each other is so important in those things. So I always enjoy those opportunities to get together with other people that are sort of in my lane, if you will. Again, I thank you for what you've done there. It's been helpful to me and to many of us for sure.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I like telling the story. You know, I'm good friends with Gino, who created EOS, and I was kind of a part of it from the beginning. And to watch him do what he did and the brilliance that he created, and I used to kind of feel bad how he was obsessed with helping entrepreneurs get everything they want out of their business. I've realized in the last few years, I'm obsessed with helping visionaries to get everything they want out of their lives. So I appreciate you saying that about the group, and I've gained more than probably anyone out of the group. So it's just I'm a facilitator. So honored to be a part of the community with you.
Yeah, and that's something that I'm trying to get to too, and a lot of that I think has to do with some of what you have put in my head about living outside of the business as well.
Right.
I think again, getting back to that initial question about why I'm here, kind of
Right.
thing. The business is important. It's important as we just discussed about to a lot of people for sure, and me especially.
Right.
But it is. I really do want to do more than just this business. I don't want my epitaph to say, President and
Right.
CEO of Sentinel Process Systems.
Right.
I really do want to try to make an impact on others as much as I can. So
Right.
that's kind of my goal. I love what I do. I love my business. I love my people I work with, and I really enjoy working and working in the business as well as on the business. I think there's other things that I have to do, that I hopefully can get to before the coroner says I'm done.
I appreciate that. And I get that as well. And as EOS and Gino kind of made popular to let go of the vine for we visionaries to trust our people and our processes. And a lot of us, I think, have a hard time letting go of the vine if they don't know what life beyond the vine is. And that is our family or our legacy or whatever it might be. And that has helped me to let go of the vine because I've been, running my business for 20 years and in all these seats. And it's like, wait a minute, I can be here and let the team be in the business and I can make a huge difference. And what I found is a lot of us who are becoming thought leaders in our industry can share kind of our legacy and our lessons to even our target market. My first business was Canadian distribution, and I would be a keynote speaker in a conference of my target market with my clients, and I'd talk about culture. And it's like, well, how is that going to help me get Canadian business? Well, they got to know me and trust me and would come up to me, and I'm like, oh, by the way, do you guys have Canadian mail? And they're like, oh yeah. So it's fascinating how we can do both. A lot of us are like, well, as soon as I sell my company, I'm going to go make a difference in the world. We visionaries don't have to sell our company to be amazing and to live our legacy now.
Right, definitely. Definitely. And it's funny, I'm also, the base business is really distribution I'm in as well. So I mentioned we represent manufacturers and we sell their
Right.
products. But yeah, that's very true in terms of you don't have to go just do one thing at the end of the day.
Right.
If you build it right and you have the right people, that enables you to not only grow effectively, but also live outside of the business and do things that can help, hopefully, or impact other people. One of the things you touched on there, I struggle with, and getting better, I think, more and more, letting go of the vine. Process issue that I think I've had, and this may be head trash,
Right.
in terms of understanding, I trust the people, but I still don't like not knowing.
Right.
It's like not. So it's almost kind of, so in my same pages, I kind of try to get like, well, why did he or she do that? Like, or not, or, and try not, but it's so critical at the end of the day. We were in a meeting just yesterday, and one of our issues came up, and my operations guy, another Joe, said, we're looking at barcode scanners in the warehouse, and he said, "Oh, I bought one." And I mean, a year ago that would never happen. They would
Right.
come to me and say,
Right.
"Hey, this thing costs $600 or whatever.
Right.
Can I get it?" It's like we talked about this issue. We talked about how it could be advantageous. Maybe we'll try it. And next week, I bought one already,
Right.
without asking anybody.
Right.
The other day, I love it, and I was like, that's a sign that we're moving in the right direction.
I love it. And that's a key thing for us visionaries and our teams, because a lot of times I've had my team, they're like, well, I didn't want to bug you. And one of my clients once said, brag up, tell me what you did and what you accomplished, and even to, what would, Bob would love to hear this. And so it's not bugging me, or even if it's an issue to say, hey, Bob, FYI, here's what we're dealing with and here's how we're solving it. And it's like, cool, thank you. So that's that muscle and that skill and that trust in team building will get there. So yeah, too often people want to, well, I really want to protect Bob. It's like, okay, well then I'm isolated. So I don't know of the issues right away and I don't know of all the successes. Brag, and then that helps me to let go of the mine.
You just gave me an aha day.
Woohoo! Drop the
love it.
mic.
Yeah, we're done. That's it. I gotta go. But I gotta tell everybody to brag up. I love that idea because you're right. Because I think one of the areas that is not knowing the good they're doing necessarily. They're doing stuff,
Right.
but
Right.
and I don't want to hear about, hey, I sharpened all the pencils today. But like you said, these kind of things. Hey, I heard this was a problem, and this is what I did to address it. I mean, that would be great to be in that spot.
Oh, that's awesome. And again, I think our role, part of our role is to celebrate people and coach them up, not necessarily managing them. But when someone did something, and again, we call us, say, that's awesome. What else do you have? And again, and then they learn. My example of letting go of the vine is I used to approve every invoice, and it used to take me an hour and a half a night, but I'm like, this is money. And so then my assistant kept saying, well, let me do it. I'm like, no, this is money. I have to do it. And she's like, it's not that hard. And I'm like, well, you can do it, but I want to know every invoice greater than 50,000, less than 5,000, greater than 35% margin, and less than 5% margin. So we went from 150 invoices a day to maybe 5 that came to me, because those were really important. Because I'd be like, wow, we're making 60% of a Paul. We better be nice to him. Or we're only making 5%. We got to raise his rates. But so then what was taking me an hour and a half, she's doing like 15 minutes and automated a lot of it. But I was kind of like, well, what do I do now? And that's when I was just stepping into my visionary. And she was like, well, do what you're great at and love. I'm like, well, I don't know what that is. And she's like, well, here's an opportunity. I said, well, I like to drink and I'm good at drinking with my clients. She's like, well, go do that.
Well,
But
it's funny
document what we talked about.
that's because that is one of the challenges. It's kind of like, what do you do? What is the day? What is the 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 routine for the visionary?
Right.
Everybody else kind of has defined roles, and our roles are so ambiguous. It's kind of like, what do you do? And that was a big struggle to get around that. And it's again something I'm still learning and dealing with. What is that? What is my job? But and every day it does become easier. It's a term of it is get time to think is a big takeaway.
Yep.
Actually getting outside of the work entirely and focused on how we can solve some of the big issues. Yeah, that's a really important part of the journey.
No, I love it. And a lot of people come to me and say, hey, Coach Bob, I've implemented EOS. Now what do I do? And it's like so clear. It's not what you do, it's who you are. And be you. A lot of times how we were successfully started our company is us being kind of not knowing any better and being us. And then when we put in a lot of processes in, it's like, okay, well, what's my job? It's like to be the visionary and to be out there. And so it's to be who you are. So yeah, that's a cool opportunity. I know a lot of us are still learning.
Yeah, it's an endless journey. I'll
Yeah.
tell you other opportunity. I finally got an executive assistant. And I
Woohoo!
just started with her, but she seems like it's going to be great. Seems awesome.
Yeah,
The
good for you.
processes are really tight. The company we're using with coaching her, even coaching me a little bit about having an assistant. So again, going back to our Gino, you don't do $25 an hour work for
Right.
you to make 6 figures. I'm looking forward to that helping me a lot too. Gain that valuable time.
Good for you. And again, it's not letting go of the vine if we don't have the right people or processes in, but to have a great integrator, as you mentioned, have a great culture, have a great assistant. And so that way, then when we are letting go of the vine, we have people that are better at it than we are. Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome. Very
absolutely.
cool. Congratulations. All right. Well, my last question, our rally cry. It's Viva La Visionary. And what does Viva La Visionary mean to you, Paul?
I would say probably being comfortable in that visionary role, being comfortable with that title,
Right.
is certainly an important thing, and realizing the value of being a visionary, and as we touched on, the impact that you
Right.
have, and the responsibility you have at the end of the day too. You
Right.
can't have both. You can't have the glory without the responsibility.
Right.
That comes along with it, but you can't be consumed by the responsibility. That gets back to the whole, not ever focusing. I have all these lives in my head. That's not a place you want to go, and
Right.
it can really be debilitating at the end of the day. At the end of the day, I think, celebrating the blessing I have to be a visionary. That's another big thing too. I mean, I am so
Yes.
blessed that I have gotten to this place in my life and been able to overcome things that many others haven't been able to overcome. So I'm very blessed for sure.
Awesome. Well, great for you. I'm proud to be a part of your journey as I'm learning as much from you as I know you are from the community. So I appreciate your time, your wisdom, and excited to continue to grow and learn and have a ball doing it together. So
Sounds
appreciate you,
good to
Paul.
me, Bob.
All
Thanks.
right. Okay. Have a
Take
great
care, my
day.
friend.
Thank you for tuning in to Viva La Visionary. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and found inspiration in our guest stories. If you loved what you heard, please subscribe, rate, and share the podcast with fellow dreamers and doers. Join us next time as we continue to explore the limitless possibilities of visionary thinking. Until then, keep dreaming big and taking action. Your vision matters.